Show, your hour of encouraging talk and music. I think I can safely say that spring is here because my husband and I were actually able to have a picnic outside this weekend. And every week we try to have a small little date, usually in the afternoons because we work pretty much until the late hours of the night. So we try to do something during the afternoon and do something fun together, which usually involves food, my favorite thing. And I think that's important in keeping the romance and the excitement in your relationship and your marriage, especially when you work together like my husband and I do. We own a business in South Jersey, a music studio, but we don't always get to spend time with each other a lot necessarily. So he pretty much works 24/7. And when he's not working, he's sleeping. Having your own business is definitely a blessing, but it can be a curse too. You get to make your own hours, you get to call the shots and implement your own plans and your visions and all that good stuff. But financially, it's not always the best. But God is really taking care of us and provided for us. And our business here is really much like a ministry to us. We meet so many awesome people. We formed so many relationships and bonds that will last, I know, just until we die. So even though it's hard sometimes, we wouldn't trade our business or the ministry for the world. Anyway, this week has been a whirlwind of a week. Just so many great things are happening, but with great things comes a lot of pressure and stress and things to do that need to get done in order to accomplish that great thing, if you know what I mean. So I'll be talking a little bit about what God has been doing in my life, in our lives here. I was asked to play some music at a very public college recently, so it wasn't a Christian college or anything like that, but it was actually for a Christian club within the college called Jesus is Lord. And during the show, both the students and I were talking about how we're still able to worship God in school in this way. And out of all the hatred that Christians kind of face on a daily basis, not so much persecution, but just slander and hate comments and things on Facebook and social media and movies making fun of Christians all the time, we're still able and thankful to worship God in school, in a college, in a secular college. And this is something we should continually be thankful for and continue to do, is get together in schools and pray. I remember when I was in high school, I was a part of a group called Agape, and I just loved that club name, and I loved being a part of that club. And because I was a part of that, it led me to other organizations like Young Life, which is a great youth organization, and that kind of got me started in worship, and I became a junior leader and running clubs and bringing people to Christ and strengthening my own relationship with Jesus Christ and helping me enter into this beautiful thing called music ministry and now radio ministry. So it's crazy what being involved with Christian activities in school can do. So I'm really thankful that we were able to do that in a school setting and strengthen each other in the faith. But besides that, the event itself was pretty cool and uplifting. We had a pastor come in, and he's a pastor from Bridgeton, New Jersey, Bethany Grace Church, if you want to look that up. Great pastor. And he's great because he's real. He doesn't use any kind of Christianese or anything like that. And if you listen to him speak, you'll know what I'm talking about. And he was actually called by God to live as a homeless person for just a specified amount of time, not like a year, just maybe for a weekend. And you can imagine what he had to do in order to become homeless. He actually bought a wig. He let his beard grow in. He slept on the cold ground, amongst other things. There wasn't water. There wasn't food around. He had to go find those things. And you can only imagine where you might find them when you're homeless. But what he noticed the most was that nobody noticed him. And he actually slept right in front of his own church that he pastored. And church members would just pass on by. Nobody wanted to see the problem. People look at homeless people as being a problem, not a person who is made in the image of God. So he completed the time God called him to be homeless. And if I remember correctly, he didn't even change or go home to shower and shave before his Sunday morning service to do his sermon. And he explained to his congregants what God had called him to do and how they had just ignored him. And he said there was a lot of just silence and shock, and people came up to him after the service with just tons of guilt, saying that, oh, we didn't know it was you. So from there, he began opening the church up for the homeless, especially on the colder nights. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this winter has been one of the coldest in quite some time. And homeless people are out there just dying and freezing to death. So the church began opening up for the homeless people. And this is actually called a code blue. I almost said cold blue, but it's not cold blue, it's code blue. This pastor's obedience to God has led many other churches to open up for the homeless and to enact the same code blue law. And it's amazing what God can do through our obedience. And lastly, he said something that just really struck me so hard. It's hard to get out of my brain since he said it. And he said, many of us see the world growing dark and cold around us, and we want to pray, and we want to hope that it just goes away. And don't get me wrong, prayer is a great thing. It's wonderful because we pray to a powerful God. But he said the world has grown dark because the light of the church has grown dim. The world has grown cold because of the love of the church has grown cold. We are the light of the world. Think about that. Meditate on it. Chew on it. That hit me like a ton of bricks. We are indeed the light of the world. And if we want to see it change, we have to do something. So every once in a while, my church will ask me to come and lead worship and sing some of my own songs. And that's exactly what I did here at the end of March. And it's always an honor to play there. It's a really big church. It's for me, it's a big deal. I just love the people there. I want to do a great job. But for some reason, my manager and I always manage to get into just some kind of trouble when we're at my church each time for like an event like this. I remember opening up for Capital Kings and doing a Christmas service there. And if you remember our Christmas incident, we had a candle lighting. And I explained this on a recent show. And I ended up stealing the candles for the candle lighting service that belonged to the leaders of the church. But I didn't know it was theirs. And then after the candle lighting, I didn't return them properly. I left them on the seats. And everybody else started leaving their candles on the seat. And my manager was like, just run as fast as you possibly can. And it was just hilarious. And if you don't think it's too funny, I guess you had to be there. But anyway, this time we stole a table. For Christians, I guess we seem to steal quite often. There wasn't enough room for our merch stuff in the lobby, so we asked somebody about it, and they just cleared off a table for us, which just so happened to be the Ministry of the Week's table. And needless to say, the leaders were just not thrilled about what we had done at all. When I say we, I really mean my manager. So I'm blaming it all on him. I'm innocent and I do nothing wrong. So I felt super bad, and I made sure to lecture my manager about it, and it won't happen again. I hope. Well, I am super excited to announce that my church has launched their own internet station called WIAM Radio, and you can find them at wiamradio.com, which was actually the ministry of the week at my church I spoke of until we stole their table. And they are also airing the Des Child Show, so thank you so much. We really appreciate what you're doing for us and my family, too. We love the new radio station. We love our home church, Gloucester County Community Church. So you can find, again, and listen to their station by going to www.wiamradio.com. radio.com. And if you don't know how to spell that, that's WIAM, radio.com. Their slogan is the Alpha and the Omega, generational truths from the past to the present and the future. One of the songs I shared with my church recently was a song I wrote called Whose Side Are You On? And for anybody who owns my record called Heart Cry, I believe it's number 11. No, maybe number 10. I don't know. I forget the numbers of my own album. But anyway, and being in church for as long as I have, I guess I've been a Christian for over a decade now, you tend to see people just come and go. They're on fire for the Lord, and then they lose that fire. You see them have victory, and then they have defeat, and then they end up turning away completely, and it's extremely sad. And it kind of made me mad just thinking about this, seeing it, especially as a young believer. Like, why would you want to turn away from the most awesome God and loving God? And then it happened in my own life. And then I knew what these people were going through. Life is just full of trials and pain and heartache, and it seems unfair. And why would God let this happen? And why won't God let me have this certain person or thing in my life? And I live by my emotions, and that's what I'm learning about myself. And I know a lot of us do. It's not just me. We live by what we feel from one day to the next instead of just fully committing ourselves to Christ. No matter what, no matter what the day holds, if it's a trial or if it's great, we need to entrust ourselves to our Lord and Savior, and it just doesn't always happen like that. And I also heard a sermon that really helped me. It was about trials and how to deal with them, because life is difficult and we have to accept it. So the pastor was talking about bracing yourself for the trials. Say if you're taking a walk, or you're out for a run and you trip, which is probably what I would do and what I've done many times. Well, your body knows to brace itself for impact. Or if you're driving and you're about to hit another car, God forbid, there's certain reflexes that turn on to try and protect the body from harm. And this is the same way we should look at life. We need to brace ourselves for the impact. And when we do this, then we won't be caught so off guard. Jesus said to be watchful and vigilant in prayer. I mean, why do we think, as Christians, why do we think that life should be without trials? Why do we fall apart? Why do I fall apart? I'm always talking to myself, too, when I give you guys little challenges. Why do we fall apart when life even gets a little hard? I'm gonna tell you a funny story. My husband bought me pancakes. Yeah, he bought me pancakes for breakfast. He was out with a pastor friend of his, and he brought me back these pancakes, and I was very happy that he remembered them. So I had half of the stack. There was like 4 pancakes in all. I try to save food so we can, spread our our money out, as it were. So I'm not buying food every day for every meal. I try to save some. So anyway, the next morning I wanted to have the pancakes again. But I got to the studio where my pancakes were in the fridge, and I said, "Honey, where are my pancakes?" And he said, "Well, the ones that were in the fridge." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "The ones that I ate?" And I said, "Yeah." And I got super mad over pancakes, and it ruined the rest of my day. And it actually, as funny and as stupid as it sounds, it affected the way I treated everyone that day, because I was mad that my husband took something of mine that wasn't his, when in actuality he had bought them for me. So, silly wife and husband story, and I hope you all can relate to that humor as well. But life is full of heartache, pain, it's full of death. We have to put our trust in God, who is good all the time. So choose him today. Choose to trust him. Choose not to fall apart when trials come, and choose not to walk away from God. Choose to hold on to him when times get tough. Be on God's side, and you will always win. Here's my song, Whose Side Are You On, by Des Childs.
I've seen many faces trial comes and the flesh is won and they're walking out the door. Well, don't worry, I'm talking to me. I've been there before. Ain't that a shame? Ain't that a shame? When the battle lights are drawn, eternity's at the door. Weary soul, make your choice. Whose side are you on? I've heard the victory stories lose their fight. How the enemy came and stole their flame out and they lose again. Well, don't worry, I'm still talking to me. I know what it's like. You're not alone. You're not alone. But the battle lights are drawn. Eternity's at the door. Weary soul, make your choice. Whose side? The battle lights are drawn. Eternity's at the door. Weary soul, make your choice. Whose side? Whose side are you on? I really wanna know. I really wanna know. Life ain't forever. No, it's quickly passing by. Don't hold on too much. Don't wait to choose a side. The battle lights are drawn. Eternity's at the door. Weary soul, make your choice. Whose side? I really wanna know. I really wanna know. I wanna
So I saw the movie Noah with my church group, The Rising. I've talked about The Rising a lot. It's a college and career Bible study at my home church that we have once a week. And I have so much to say about the movie Noah in comparison to the biblical real account of Noah that I'm actually going to devote a whole hour of the Des Child show just debunking the myths of the movie. So you can look forward to that soon. I'll announce that on Facebook. But for right now, I want to share with you a game that we played at my church called Taylor Swift versus Lamentations. And if you don't understand what the two have to do with each other, then just listen to a few Taylor Swift songs alongside the book of Lamentations, and you'll know exactly why we put this game together. And of course, Lamentations is a book of the Bible, written by Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. So here's the audio from the game. I hope you enjoy it and get a little giggle out of it.
I did not look at these intentionally, so I wouldn't know the answers. Hey, number one, Mr. Nate here. She cries herself to sleep at night, tears soaking her pillow. How many people think that's a lamentation?
Taylor Swift.
How many people think that's the Taylor Swift lyric? Raise your hand. I need a show of hands. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Ooh, that is a lamentation. Yes, that is a lamentation. I'm not sure which translation it is. They even had pillows back then, but you know, yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's see. So far, you're not doing very good. Your knives and swords and weapons that you use against me.
Taylor.
Taylor Swift. How many of you say Taylor Swift lyric? Anybody want to emphatically state that they believe that's a lamentation?
It's Ozzy.
Okay, couple. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, that is a Taylor Swift lyric. Mean. Yes. How could anything mean come out of that beautiful little... How could that... But she's mean. Anyway, moving right along. My eyes are blind with tears. My stomach is in a knot. How many of you say Taylor Swift lyric? Taylor Swift lyric. How many of you say lamentation? Everybody thinks it's a lamentation. All right, that seems to be the Yes, it was a lamentation. Good job, all you lamenters. Some of you spend a lot of time in lamentations, don't you? We have tissues in the back of the room. You're like a lion ready to pounce. Yeah, that's how many people say Taylor Swift lyric. Taylor Swift? You say both? It is a lament by Taylor Swift. Okay. Then again, everything she says is a lament. Here we go. Lamentations 3:10. All right. Lamentations. Next. How many of these we got, man?
A lot.
Really? All right. Well, we might not do them all. Let's see. This yearning in the deep part of my heart for you. I'm gonna say it's a Taylor Swift. How many people say it's Taylor Swift lyric? All right. Let's see.
Yeah.
Somebody's taking this thing real seriously. Yes!
Chair.
All right, next. I'll never forget the trouble. The point, that's got to be a Taylor Swift. I saw that T word. Let's see. No.
Oh.
Yes, Taylor Swift did not invent trouble, or at least being victimized by trouble. That is correct. But there's one thing I remember so I can keep a grip on hope. Who says T Swift? Yo, I'm saying that's a lamentation because it's a... Sorry. I'm aching, no past, nowhere to hide. Definitely? She's saying definitely. Let's see, Nate. It is definitely Taylor Swift. That may be the last time you get one right. We'll see. All right, next. All we are is skin and bone. That's a lamentation, dog. Come on, man. Come on. Lamentation. Ah!
Would you like to have Des play at your church, venue, retreat, or event? Well, she would love to come minister to you. You can find out more and make your request at deschilds.com. That's DEZCHILDS.com.
Ever since I was a kid, my dream was to be in some sort of musical or play. And I've been into some acting classes, taken some acting lessons, been in a few minor productions. And when I say minor, I mean really, really minor. I was involved in dance, was involved in voice heavily, but my first love was actually acting. I think I would have made a great actress, but life didn't pan out to be that way. So every year my church puts on a fantastic Easter Passion production, and this year it's called Love Wins. So if you're around the area of Gloucester County, Sewell area, Washington Township, I definitely recommend that you come see it. And I really had it in my heart to be a part of it this year. I mean, I really felt God just calling me to be a part of it, to do it, but I had some scheduling conflicts and just couldn't do it. But I've had it on my schedule, but I have it on my schedule for next year. So 2015 Easter Passion Play, here I come. So mark your calendars. But the Lord is good, and he provided a way for me to feel a part of the play in just a small way. Backstage at my church is all the costumes they use for the production. And I was waiting to go back on the platform for our last worship song because I'm part of the worship team doing stuff like that. So I decided to go through the costumes and dream about being on stage with Jesus and pretending to be in Israel. Okay. And in my browsing, I found this beautiful black hat with like a long cape attached to it. And I'm really thinking of wearing it on stage for gigs. So if you want to offer your opinion, please visit me on Facebook, Des Childs. Also, it's posted to my Instagram and I think my Twitter as well. So your opinion is so welcome. I really, really would appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning into the Des Child Show. Next week, I am so excited to interview live music producer extraordinaire Tom Jackson. You've probably heard me talk about him on my show quite a few times because I am a big fan of his, and he'll be talking about what a live music producer does and why it's so important for a band or artist to implement his method. So if you're an artist or band, you don't want to miss this, but even if you're not musical or an artist or a band, I'm sure what he'll have to say you'll find to be very interesting and changed my life, actually, changed my perspective on being a musician. So thank you so much for tuning into the Des Child Show. If you have a comment, a question, a prayer request, or an upcoming project that you want to promote, give us a call, 1-856-244-1503. God bless and have a great rest of your week.